All the lights are on. Yes. It's the modem. No, I'm sorry, it's the modem.
Okay, so it's the direct modem. Honestly, my first thought would be, it's time to talk to your ISP and see if you can swap out modems.
Well, what's interesting about that is that's a new modem, and we are live now. Once again, it appears to be coming up right here in 3D, and once again, what I'm seeing is what all of our listeners and viewers are seeing right now, which is the chair. And we are having some technical failure today, as we did last week. I know all of you remember that, but we are here live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio. So to all of our listeners and viewers who are with us live on Facebook and live with us on YouTube and on RadioFreeNetwork.com, we thank you for your patience and thank you for tuning in. I've had Boxcast with me working on it. Josh, as always, is a great help to us, trying to make certain that we get everything in order so that we can be here for you to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life that you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. We are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. So I'm going to, first of all, address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers on yesterday, and I had a conversation with our listener and viewer about this regarding searching for a new job opportunity, and I did not have the time yesterday to complete this. And I know many of you have talked about looking for new job opportunities and for the opportunity to really be successful, maximize your success. So I wanted to address that just to complete that discussion from yesterday. And one of the things that I encourage you to do as you're searching for a new job opportunity, first of all, I said this yesterday and I'll say this again, and you've all heard me say this before. You've got to line up your desire with God's will and pray this prayer that God will open doors no man can shut and close the doors that he does not want you to enter. You know, it's real easy for us to walk through open doors, but you have to make sure it's the right door. But when you're searching for a new job opportunity, the first thing you want to do is you really want to, every company that you send your resume, you need to research the company. You need to know who their CEO is. You need to know who their CFO is, their COO. You need to know the culture of the company. You need to know that where you're trying to become an employee or become a manager or whatever the case may be, you need to know that it's going to be a right fit. And in order to do that, you really have to research the company. And one of the things I've often told people, you know, you even on their website, if they have a place for corporate environment, for the board of directors, look at the board of directors. Just get to know the people that you are going to be working for and with, so that you can not only find a new job opportunity, but that you can be successful in that job opportunity and that you can maximize your success. What we're all trying to accomplish is to experience the fullness of God. So we have to really make certain that we do our research, make certain that we know we are a right fit for the company just as much as the company's going to be interviewing you for a job. You want to make certain that you're going to be a good fit for that company. And so the very first step is to line up your desire for a new position with the will of God. And then you've got to do your homework. You've got to do your research. And anytime you're searching for a job opportunity, it is a job. So you have to really be committed to sending out to your resume, monitoring the companies that you send out your resume. And then I would also suggest and recommend that you keep a log so that you know when you applied, you know if you've gotten a response, you know, obviously if you get an interview, you want to make sure that it's on your calendar. You want to make certain that you're prepared for that interview. So you really want to do your part and then trust God to do the rest. And I know we were delayed getting on today, but as I've said before, technology is a blessing and it can be a curse. So let's just continue on today. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. If you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are always included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So I want to say also to our listeners and viewers, I know we started off with some technical difficulty today, and I just want to address that because I know that we appreciate your patience. We appreciate you being with us every day, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. But I want to say to you that technology is sometimes very difficult. And for whatever reason, we have some technical failure going on. We had it last week. We had it again this week. Only during 3D. Sunday sermon was fine, but we make every effort to get back up so that we can be here with you, so that you can hear from God right here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, to address all of your topics and all of the issues of life and all of the challenges that you might have to face on a daily basis. We are here for you. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been in an off and on relationship for the last 5 years. Breaking up, then making up, and then breaking up again. And you want to know, how do you maintain this relationship successfully? Well, here's the issue. That's not real love. Breaking up, making up, breaking up, making up. Growing up in an urban environment, we had a term for that. But I'll use a different term today, and the reality is that that's not love. That is dysfunction. And so what you have to recognize is there's no reason for you to try to make this a successful relationship after 5 years of doing dysfunction. You don't want to live your life in a dysfunctional relationship. So part of the problem, and I'll share with you what God showed me in that secret place of both of your lives. Part of the problem is that neither of you prepared yourself for a relationship. What you prepared yourself for was dating. And when I say prepared yourself, I'm saying that facetiously because you just got into a relationship with someone because neither of you wanted to be alone, and because you found something about one another that was interesting to you. There was no foundation laid in a relationship with God. There was no foundation laid in a relationship with the Lord that you could build on. There was nothing about this relationship that was going to lead to success. It was primarily you were interested in him because of the way he, his swag, for lack of a better term. He was interested in you because he found you to be attractive and appealing to his desire. So both of you just went into this with the thought of satisfying not only your curiosity, but your desires. And consequently, it has been off again, on again, off again, on again. So you're doing dysfunction. You are not going to have a quality of life when living with dysfunction. So you have to decide today that you're not going to live with dysfunction any longer. That you're not going to try to have a relationship based on what you know or perceive relationships to be. You're living with dysfunction because everyone that you know, family, friends, have all been living with dysfunction in some form. You all have been living with dysfunction. And so consequently, you've only done what you've seen and what you've heard. And so therefore, your state of mind has been, this is something that I can do long term, but it's not going to lead to you having a great quality of life. You have to decide that you're going to, first of all, prepare yourself for a relationship. So let me say this to really help all of our listeners and viewers also. For women, you want to read Proverbs, the 31st chapter. And the reason is because it talks about a virtuous woman. It talks about preparing yourself for another level in relationships. Listen, it will take you to a whole nother level. For men, we have to love and cherish the women that God has assigned to our lives. So, I'm going to encourage men, we need to start reading the whole entire Holy Bible. But if you go to Corinthians, 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians, it will give you some guidance for the men on how to live a godly life and how to take care of the women that God has assigned to our lives and our children. So I say all of that to say, we all have to prepare ourselves for a relationship. We have to prepare to be able to function in a relationship and not be dysfunctional. It's real important that we understand the significance of having healthy and thriving relationships. Because that's going to be part of our quality of life for both men and women. So in your case, what I'm going to say to you is, as a woman, you're going to have to prepare yourself, not just for a relationship, but hopefully someday to be someone's wife. Now, I understand that society has taught us to look for certain things in a relationship. But the reality is that we've been miseducated. And I'm not going to get into another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers, because I see where I'm starting to go down that path, but we've been miseducated. What you have is not a healthy relationship. It's a dysfunctional relationship. And it's time to bring that bring it to a close. Close the door on that. And then just from today moving forward, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the next relationship. Prepare yourself to become someone's wife. And he that finds you will then find a good thing, and he will obtain favor of the Lord. You both will obtain favor of the Lord. You got to recognize how important this is. But in order for you to move forward, you've got to close the door on the dysfunctional relationship and move on to a much better quality of life. This segment of the broadcast has been brought to you by Under Armour Golf, which now powers the Junior League, a national league for boys and girls ages 6 through 18 of all skill levels. Under Armour is advancing the game of golf for all children of all skill levels, ages 6 through 18. And you can go to underarmour.com/golf. If you're a golfer like myself, or you have a loved one who's a golfer, you can find everything that Under Armour has available for you to enjoy and experience a great game of golf. And the great thing about Under Armour at underarmour.com is that they also have equipment and gear for every type of athletic activity you want to enjoy. Go to Under Armour at underarmour.com. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you feel that people now feel they have the right to say whatever they want to say without there being consequences. You want to know, how do you make people realize that they can't just say whatever they want to say, whatever comes to their mind? You know, listen, I can tell you we've had conversations about this over and over again particularly during this pandemic and particularly in this last year. And I can tell you it's a conversation that my wife and I recently had also. We're in a society today where you are absolutely correct. People think they can say whatever they want to say, and you cannot just say what you want to say because it comes into your mind. There are going to be consequences for what we do and say, or what we say and do. There will be consequences. And so we have to make certain that, as I often use the analogy, whatever comes out of our mouth passes to God's ear before it ever gets to the ear of the hearer. The speed of sound is so quick that it will pass God's ear before it arrives at the hearer. They can be sitting right across from you, but it has to be acceptable to God. So that's always the litmus test, and we just have to encourage people in this way, particularly people that we know. You can leave strangers alone, but people that we know, we need to share with them that you just can't say whatever you want to say. And we're in a society that people genuinely believe it's okay. I can say whatever I want to say. I have the freedom of speech, and I'm going to open my mouth and say whatever I want to say because I want to be heard. Well, how's that working for you? That's what people have to ask themselves, because nothing good is going to come of that. There will be consequences. And you might not know what the consequences are going to be today, a week from now, a month from now, even a year from now. But there will be consequences. We can't just say what we want to say. We have to believe that whatever we say must be acceptable to God before we say it to someone else. Think before we speak. And think about, will it be acceptable to God if I say this? And encourage other people that you know, family members and friends, not to just say what's on their mind, but to decide if it is acceptable to God to be spoken before they say it. I know we've been delayed going live today, but as always, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast 3D has been brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door.